Sorry, requires some. Okay, so let's head right into essential networking knowledge. I think many of you may already have the knowledge to some networking products, but to cover most people's needs, let's do a small tasks to get our familiar with different networking products by using a tasks. Okay, you want to do a recording? Okay, I've approved all the recording requests, and I'm also gonna share a cloud recording link to you all. Okay, so let's start with these tasks to connect a typical home into network. So now we're having a three-story house. First, we're gonna apply a internet access to the service provider. They could be AT&T, Verizon, or British Telecom, or any others. So they could give us a ONT, which is the network terminal as a fiber network. Fiber is getting increasingly popular because of its high speed and low latency. And we can also see other formats of internet access, and they could be using a telephone line, which is called DSL. Which is popular in Europe. And you can also see cable modem, which uses the TV line as internet access methods. So, and there are also another popular methods, which uses the cellular network, just the one on your phone, but it is installed in a 4G or 5G router. And thanks to the, let's mute, okay. So thanks to its flexibility and pay as you go, pay as you use it, advantages is also getting increasingly popular. So if you're not familiar with these different kinds of internet access, you may check out the cables. How does this cable look like in your home? On the right, you can compare the images with the cable that you have, maybe at your corner at the internet access boxes. And on the left, you can see two kinds of methods are getting increasingly popular, and they are using fiber and FWA, the fixed wireless access, which is using the 4G or 5G access method globally. Okay, let's get back to our tasks. And we are using the most advanced and the fastest ONT as the internet access methods. And next, we're going to share it with a Wi-Fi router. You get it, it's very simple, right? So on the first floor and second floor, all devices getting connected to the network. But as you can see, the phone and the speaker doesn't have good signal on the second floor. So we can add a repeater to extend the Wi-Fi. So now the second floor has optimal Wi-Fi. What about the third floor? We can add another repeater, but two jumps will sacrifice the performance significantly. So our recommendation is to add a switch, which extends the network using a Ethernet cable. So the third floor has optimal network, but just in wired format. So we need to transform the wired into wireless connection. So we are going to use a access points. So now whole home is connected and covered with full bar Wi-Fi signal. What about the last gaming console or PC that's outdated, so it doesn't have good Wi-Fi connectivity? We can upgrade it with an Wi-Fi adapter. So now we have finished the tasks. As you can see, it's quite easy. So home networking essentially builds the bridge from ISP to the end clients. So that involves ONT to Wi-Fi router to adapter. Maybe some end clients already have good adapter, so we don't need to upgrade it. And there are multiple roles that a product can play between these process. And since we have so many devices we need to install, why don't we merge them? So we have home Wi-Fi router, which plays multiple roles in this network and saves your installation time and costs. And we also have 4G, 5G Wi-Fi router. And since many people have big homes, so they're gonna need Wi-Fi router and repeaters, so we will merge them with a category called mesh system. We will talk about it later when we're using examples. So that's the different networking products we will learn later. So it's quite easy, right? Okay, so between this process, there are some dominant specs that will decide classes or level of networking devices. Of course, you can know the level from the price tag, but apart from that, when customers is asking you what makes this higher price than that one, of course, the dominant specs decided. So for networking devices, of course, is about speed. So in different field, like the ISP, the access spec decide the speeds, and in wired part, the speed and the port number decide the classes of the products. And in wireless fields, it's the Wi-Fi standards, Wi-Fi 7, 6, or 5, that determines the class of the products. And end clients, similar rules applies. If it is wireless or wired, then similar rules applies. Okay, let's dive a little bit deeper into Wi-Fi specs. So firstly, you must have heard that there are tri-band router, dual-band router, or even one-band router, but one-band router, they won't marketing themselves as one-band router because that's the lower end. So from this graph, you can see that the one-band 2.4 gigahertz has very narrow frequency resources. So the speed limits is very limited, but dual band router can access 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, so it's less likely to get interrupted. And with the introduction of the 6 gigahertz bands, the frequency is again extended, almost doubled. So tri-band router must be more superior than a dual band one. So you can easily tell these two products, the tri-band router is better than another one that doesn't marketing any bands information. Okay, that's about Wi-Fi bands. And I'd like to introduce some core technology in each recent Wi-Fi standard iterations. So in Wi-Fi 5, which is released like in 2011 or 2012, the MUMAIMO is its core technology, which allows one router to. Sorry, I should. Okay, so if you have any questions, please maybe raise hands and I will unmute it, or you can type it in the chat box. Okay, so let's get back to Wi-Fi 5. So MUMAIMO allows one router to split their different antennas to serve different clients simultaneously, which reduces latency and improves capacity. And in Wi-Fi 6, the core technology called OFDMA again improves capacity and reduce the latency, but in another means, like it's not about the antennas usage or streams, but it coded the data for multiple devices into one signal waves. So before they have to wait their signal waves to come, but now all devices receive their data in one signal waves. So that's how OFDMA saves wait time and improves performance. That's why Wi-Fi 6 is so popular because of its efficiency. Okay, in Wi-Fi 7, we are seeing multi-link operation technology. So how does it work? As we have introduced tri-band and dual band, but one devices can only stream on one band at one time if there is no MLO feature. But with MLO, one client can connect to these up to like 3 bands simultaneously. So the frequency resources is more than doubled, as well as the likelihood that is to stay in high speed connection, because one band can easily get interrupted, but it's not likely to have interruption on all the 3 bands. So that's why MLO is so important in Wi-Fi 7. Okay, after introducing the core technology in the Wi-Fi iterations, I'd like to talk about the data speeds. So in computers world, they're using capitalized B, which represents byte. And in networking world, we are more used to the non-capitalized B, which represents bits. And 8 bits equals 1 byte. So it's normal to see the numbers are different when they're buying a router, signing a internet access services, but they will see smaller number on their computer. And there is a relation, okay? So apart from the highlight specs, we can also leverage some secondary specs during your selling, such as parental controls, VPNs, and the coverage performance. And we'll go through these features later using examples products. Okay. And let's keep the business part before everything getting complicated. Okay, so here we come to the sales and support parts. And we're going to introduce the Cudy's products, how we name them, and the benefits, features, and how you can check the specifications, and how you can access marketing materials, and how we do troubleshooting, how to check previous frequently asked questions. Okay, so first, the portfolio and naming in Cudy's products. As you can see, Cudy provide a very comprehensive scope products lineup, almost covering all the networking product categories. And naming is quite straightforward. Basically, the acronym, the first letters in each product categories. WR representing Wi-Fi router, and LT, aka 4G, represents 4G routers. And others also applies the same rules, similar rules. And if you are not familiar with any kind of products, you may raise it up, and I can do some small introduction, but we'll go through them one by one later, so no worries. Okay, first, let's have a look on Cudy's Wi-Fi routers. So from their models, we know their speed levels. So the flagship on the left upper part shows the WR21000. So that's the flagship we provide, which has a 10G as a P+ slot, allowing for 10G internet access, really fast. So from the top flagship to the right, the speed goes down to 3600 megabits per second, but it's still very fast. Someone send a message. Okay, Mr. Mikolajku asked, any device need to have Wi-Fi 7 technology? Yes, of course. It's like a cooperation that both sides have to have corresponding technologies to build the bridge. Yes. Okay. So from 7 to currently very popular Wi-Fi 6, we are having the 3000 megabits per second devices, and they are also very popular. And Wi-Fi 5, and Wi-Fi 4, the entry-level, budget-friendly options. And as you can see, most of them support mesh features. We're gonna introduce mesh features later. The new message is okay. So since we have talked about many people needs repeaters, so we provide a mesh Wi-Fi system that sold the products in pairs. There are 1-pack, 2-pack, and 3-packs. So they don't need to differentiate which one is router, which one is repeater. They install it in like multiple levels, so whole home getting coverage. It's a multi-pack solutions for large households. So you can understand mesh systems in this way. Okay, so let's use a very higher end products as a example products. And I'll walk you through these, its most dominant specs and some secondary specs. So from the name, you can read BE11000, so which means its top speed, the aggregated speed is 11,000 megabits per second, and 2.5G indicating it supports 2.5G internet access with its RJ45 2.5G Ethernet port. And it has a mesh in its name, indicating it supports mesh technology, and Wi-Fi 7 indicating its Wi-Fi standards. And of course, on its product page, you can read most dominant spec could be its hardware, which it says it provides, it equips with a very powerful Qualcomm quad-core CPU, very powerful to carry a lot of devices, more than 100. And it provides tri-band Wi-Fi, so almost flagship in Wi-Fi 7. And a full 2.5G Ethernet port, providing multi-gig Ethernet connection for all devices. And some other highlight features, the multi-link operation, enhanced modulation, the 4K QAM, boosted coverage, and 6 streams. Next is the secondary specs you can leverage. Most of them could be some software features, like we provide parental controls, VPN server and clients, Cudy Mesh. And parental controls could be very useful for the parents users. They want to make sure their children won't access any inappropriate content, and they won't misuse the networks. So with panel controls, the users can create a profile on their phone and maybe set the weekly time limits for their children. And if their children finish their homework, they can grant like temporarily like 1 hour of internet access very easily and convenient on their phone. And they can also establish blacklist or whitelist on the web filter part to regulate the content. That's parental controls, very useful. And next is the VPN server and clients. So people using VPN to work around the maybe censorship or some content blockage due to geo region policies. But it could be even more useful. Like they can establish a connection, secured connection to their office networks and access files very conveniently. They can also host a VPN server in their home. So next time when they're outdoors, but they want to access their home network, they can connect back to their home securely. We provide 6 popular protocols, so it's very convenient. Okay, so last but not least, a very popular secondary feature is called mesh. We have introduced mesh systems, and actually mesh systems and all Wi-Fi routers, almost all Wi-Fi routers support mesh features. So when compared a topology that's equipped with mesh with a traditional router and ring extender setup is superior because it provides you one union Wi-Fi, right? You don't have to switch between networks. Like when you go to the second floor, like used to, you can used to still connect to the first floor network and stuck on that. So it's a faster and simpler online experience. So you don't have to manage multiple devices. It's
Bu
automatically
benzersiz
synced up.
teklif için Renault yetkili satıcılarına uğramayı unutmayın.
Sorry. Okay. So it's very easy to manage the whole system. And if you compare Qt Mesh with other branded mesh, the differences are small because it's getting widespread. The technology is not new. It has like 5 years, more than 5 years of histories now. But all Qt Mesh devices can work together. There's no sub-brands. So people don't get frustrated when they want to add another new mesh devices, Qt Mesh devices. But some other brands, they have different sub brands and they don't work with each other. It's kind of frustrated. Okay, so that's mesh feature. And here we are looking at like a summary or the specification sheets for the products we have looked at. So from the top, there are the dominant specs. To the bottom, there are the secondary specs, Qt Mesh, VPN, and Qt App. All the Qt devices, the gateway devices, including router, mesh systems, repeaters, they all support Qt App. Mr. Joachim asked, does Qt Mesh system use a separate channel for the mesh? They use the same channel as your phone use, like the 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. It's compulsory. It's the Wi-Fi standards. So no other brands, like all brands products use the same channel. But I can talk about a little more. Like here, we say Ethernet backhaul, which allows the products to use the Ethernet cable if you connect different nodes. They can establish a more stable connection if you plug them with Ethernet cable. And some other brands, they don't provide such feature at their lower end mesh. They only have wireless backhaul, but we provide Ethernet backhaul. Okay. I hope that solved your question. All right. So understanding this feature is quite easy, right? Firstly, dominant specs. Secondly, the secondary specs. And on the top rows, you can see as the dominant, the speed, Wi-Fi speeds. Sorry, Mr. Jeria, I cannot hear you clearly. Maybe if you want to ask any questions, you may type it in the chat box. So please allow me to introduce some recommended Wi-Fi 7 routers here because they're so good, and we would like you to choose them. And also your customer will love it. So the first is the almost flagship, the W11000. We recommended it because it is tri-band, so it can access the greenfield 6 gigahertz bands. It's the first, right? No other devices, even iPhone, even the latest iPhone or laptops, none of them don't have the access to 6 gigahertz band. But if there is a geek user who likes to try the greenfield band, there's no interruptions, there's no any blockage. When you try that, you can choose this W11000. And the graph shows you how fast it can go as compared to the AX3000 Wi-Fi 6 router, like more than doubled, tripled speeds. And it provides 320 megahertz wide channels. So that's very fast. One device it can reach more than 5 gigabits per second speeds. Okay, so next it's a more budget friendly, but with phenomenal coverage. We say phenomenal because it's really good in terms of the Wi-Fi coverage. How? Because it provides 4 streams on its 5 gigahertz bands. So compared to like traditional 2 streams solution, they have this one has better capability to get around the obstacles and more resistant to interruptions. So on the right, you can see there's a test data. It's real. It's from our lab. And as you can see, when we are standing 50 meters away from a router, the WR6500 has more than 5 times faster speeds compared to a 3600 router from another brand, not our brand. Our brand's 3600 has 468 megabits per second. So we recommend it for its phenomenal coverage. No one will be disappointed. It's really good. Yeah. And next, so if your user just consider upgrading to like a upgrading, they don't require any special features, just a useful routers. But these 2 models, they have really good cost efficiency. So it's very close to the Wi-Fi 6 models, but it's Wi-Fi 7. So they can have the benefits of the latest features. So compared to the X3000 Wi-Fi 6 router, these 2 provide 150% faster speeds. And they also provide 2.5G options. Okay, and other questions? Yes, 50 meters without wall, Mr. Herman. Yes, 50 meters without wall. But even with walls, the performance is still way better than like 2-stream routers. Okay, we just need to be fair, like when comparing these devices. So on the right, you see, because it has the same chip as in the 6500, so the tuning is really good. So when compare this one with other non-Broadcom BE3600 routers, it always provides faster speed. When it's close, it's almost top the internet access 2G limitation or 2.5G limitations. And when you're standing 50 meters away, it's almost doubles the speeds compared to another non-Broadcom solutions. So it's among the top. Okay. So that's our recommendations of the Cudy's Wi-Fi 7 offerings. If you have any questions, you may raise it up, or we will continue our sessions. So Wi-Fi 6 routers are also very popular. Okay, that's a very long question. I think I'll answer it at the end of this session. Okay, sorry, because everyone here, we have almost 550 people here. Okay, thanks for asking though. Wi-Fi 6 routers. So, Wi-Fi 6 router are still recommended for its high cost efficiency. And most devices nowadays, they are still Wi-Fi 6. No, the phones, your laptops, they're still Wi-Fi 6. So buying a Wi-Fi 6 is not a bad choice, actually. And we have so many options. The difference between them are very small, but it depends on your customer's requirements. For example, the WR3000P and 3000H has 2.5G connection. There is a mistake. The WR3000H has a 2.5G port. Here says it only has 5 gigabits. It's mistake, sorry. So you can check this spec later online, or I'll share this slide later with you. And there are mini VPN routers for like more traveling scenarios and with USB-C powering, the blue one, very popular. Okay, so we also have some classic X1800 Wi-Fi 6, but that one we don't recommend it anymore because it's not very cost efficient. And we also have very affordable Wi-Fi 6, the X1500 Wi-Fi 6. So it gives you the features in Wi-Fi 6, but almost like the with the price in Wi-Fi 5. Also very capable. So finishing introducing the Wi-Fi routers and some features of them. There are two useful ISP features I'd like to introduce. So ISP clients, they may ask for features that helps them to do uh, quick deployment, saving their deployment fees. And TRO69 or say CWMP on the left can help them to do that. So they just give the machine to give the router to their customers and customer plug the line and everything is set up. So that's the feature we provide on almost all the routers models. And for some ISP clients who doesn't have the ability to run such remote configuration services, we also provide the feature called ISP preset on the right. So they allows the customer to do bulk settings. They can set up like 100 devices at once with some very simple tools we provide, and such as PPPoE passwords, IPTV setup, and burn it as the default settings. So if a user's getting the devices and mess around the configurations, you don't have to send a guy to fix that. So you just ask the users to press the reset button and everything will get back to normal. That's ISP preset. Okay, so next, range extenders. We provide four models for now, starting from the flagship Wi-Fi 7 range extenders to the entry-level Wi-Fi 5, the AC1200, and all of them can work with any router. No brand limitations. And they provide a signaling strength indicator to help the customer to determine which place is the best to install the range extender. And all of them provide Ethernet port. So in addition to the Wi-Fi sharing, Wi-Fi expansion, they can also allows you to pull Ethernet cable to a legacy devices, like a legacy TV who doesn't have the wireless connectivity. And that's the range extenders. Setting them up are very straightforward. You can just press the .ps button or pair buttons on your original router and the range extender, and they will finish set up very fast. And all of them support Qt Mesh. And here you see the range extender specifications, just like the Wi-Fi routers, from the speeds, the ports, and some secondary specs. Okay, so next we're looking at 4G, 5G routers. It plays a very popular roles in some countries who don't provide fixed broadband to some remote areas. And it's also very popular because it's pay as you go. So many like renters or vacation house owners, they tend to use these features, these products. Okay, Mr. Alex Shin is asking, are all EasyMesh enabled Qt devices? That's a good question. So EasyMesh R2, most of them are EasyMesh R2, as I know, but EasyMesh requires special firmware. So by default, Qt Mesh devices they use Qt Mesh protocols. It's privately owned. So if customers requires EasyMesh, it's mainly the ISP customers. So we don't provide EasyMesh firmware for the retail products. Okay. So back to the session. 4G, 5G products. So we also Cudy at the first place, we are very good at building the 4G and 5G products. We are firstly renowned for that on Amazon, and now these days we're very good on making general networking products. But as you can see on the graph, we provide still very comprehensive 4G, 5G offerings, starting from the entry-level 4G category 4 to 6 to 12 to the most advanced 5G network, like the release 15 and the release 16. Next time when you see this name, you know it's about the access terms, which determines the speed it can goes up to. So from the entry levels 150 megabits per second to fastest 7 gigabits per second. That's very powerful. Okay, I want to go through them one by one. I just share some technologies informations. So what makes 5G or some advanced 4G faster than standard 4G? So there are carrier aggregation, just like the MLO, but that's between the router and the cellular tower. So it enables the router to make use of multiple carrier bands, less interruptions, higher speeds. And the second is 4x4 MIMO, which allows the router to establish multiple streams, like the frequency streams to the base station to also improve the quality and speeds. Okay. So there are common demands of improving cellular signals because many situations that people don't have good signals in their home. So we provide the method one. We provide detachable antennas, so users can replace the default antennas with their extension antennas. And method two is the user can make use of our outdoor 4G or 5G routers and install them on their roof or on a tree. Sorry. So there's no blockage between the router to the signal tower. And what about in-house, the Wi-Fi in-house? They can pull the line into their home and they can install another access point just as we did in the tasks. So every device can connect just like having the full bar signal. That's the second method. Okay, the outdoor devices is built to to survive very harsh conditions, no matter it's hot or freezing or dust or rain or lightning conditions. And you may think it could be complicated, but it's as easy as installing a standard 4G router. Just install the SIM, power it on, and you get network. And the Ethernet cable can reach 100 meters away. Okay. Okay, three last features related to 4G, 5G routers. The first is the TTL settings. So what is TTL settings? TTL is a package in the data stream, but it is used by the carriers to determine if you are using the correct phone to access their service. So there's some compatibility issue, but with these features, you can customize these values so to work around the limitations. So this feature is to help people improve the product's compatibility. So more carriers, SIM solution can be installed on Cudy's products. And second feature is the 4G band lock. Although Cudy's 4G or 5G routers will pick the best available band automatically, but some geek users want to do that on their own. So we provide that options. And last but not least, the third but very useful feature, the one internet cellular backup. So why it is useful? For some certain scenarios, such as banking surveillance or cashiers, which requires consistent services of the network. So they can apply for the fixed internet access to their services, but in case of the downtime of the fixed services, they install a SIM card to the 4G and 5G routers. So once the fixed connection is down, the SIM card, the 4G or 5G, will kick in to keep everything working. Okay, so that's easy to understand, but very useful. Okay, we finished introducing the 4G and 5G routers. Next, we're looking at Xphone Wi-Fi routers. So Xphone Wi-Fi router is often requested by the ISP clients because it's about modems, right? Building the terminal for their fiber networks. So we provide Wi-Fi 6, the GP3000. We provide Wi-Fi 5, GP1200. We also provide the versions with RJ11 ports, which allows them to build the phone services on it. Okay, so if the ISP clients don't need a Wi-Fi router plus the owned combo, we provide just a single owned devices. So it's just a transformation between fiber and Ethernet, very simple devices, but very high technology. And we're also having a 10 gigabits per second Xphone terminal under development. Okay, so next we are looking at the USB Wi-Fi adapters. It's about peripherals. So it's mainly for upgrading legacy devices with advanced connectivity. Most of them on most operating system is plug and play, so no fuss of using. There are higher end with very long antennas, foldable design. There are also nano adapter that they can keep it and forget it on, like for a legacy laptop. And after the wireless part, we're having a wired Ethernet adapters here. We provide 2.5G Ethernet adapter. We provide gigabit Ethernet adapter. So most of them are plug and play, and they can be used even on Nintendo, on some Android TV to improve the stability of the streaming. Okay, we also provide USB hubs, although it's not about networking, but we also done this very good, like the CS700, the flagship. It is crafted with a single aluminum, so very high quality, just like MacBook. So if you have higher end customers link, they may love this. And we also provide some other USB-C hubs, like for HDMI 2.0 and some just simple USB hubs, for different types of different kinds of scenarios. That's the USB hubs section. Okay, so after the USB part, next peripherals we're going to introduce here is the PCIe adapters. So what's PCIe? PCIe is the slots that you can see on the computer's motherboards, and it's mainly used by the custom-built PC players. And in the computers, like computer stores, they build custom PCs for their customers. And to upgrade the connectivity, they can install the PCIe adapters in the PCs. New questions? Okay, how can I help? These adapters have packed injections or monitor mode. Okay, so I assume, Mr. Mustafa, you're asking about the questions in last section, the USB hubs. So the adapter packed injections, you mean power, right? The CS700 comes with a 150 watts adapter, so they can deliver power. Okay, sorry, you are asking about Wi-Fi adapters. They don't require injection. They don't require injection actually. They get their power from the motherboard. And monitor mode, actually, no, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with monitors. It's just establishing networking connections. Okay, let's continue. So we provide from the Wi-Fi 7 to the Wi-Fi 6 And they also carries Bluetooth features. So by installing these adapters, the users can also connect their peripherals, Bluetooth peripherals like keyboards, headphones, mice to the computers. That's the PCIe Wi-Fi adapters. Next, we're looking at the Ethernet adapter. So it's about wired. So we have gigabit and 2.5G and 10G options. Their compatibility performance are among the top. Like our testing department even tested on the NAS, the Synology NAS. I don't know if you have heard that, but that system sometimes it picks the components, and the official components could be very expensive. But our offering use similar chips, so it can work with many systems, including Synology NAS. Okay. Okay, we have finished the peripherals part. So next is the access points. We're entering some harder parts. It's about business, right? So it's not just one devices. Customers are buying multiple as one pack. They need to cover a whole lot areas. So we provide some band steering features to assign devices to less congested band. We provide auto channel selection to prevent interference between different devices. And we provide auto mesh optimization. However, this one is also available in the home scenario. And there is an open Wi-Fi software available. So if your customer, they don't want to get stuck to a brand, they want to have multiple branded access points within their system, they can do that. So that's open Wi-Fi. We have that option. We are very open to the open Wi-Fi ecosystem. And first, we're looking at the ceiling mount access point. It is mostly, most cases, mounted on the ceiling or installed on the wall, can be seen in some transportation, the train stations, stadium, or classrooms. And from the top flagship Wi-Fi 7 to the entry-level Wi-Fi 5, similar to the Wi-Fi router. Next, we can look at the wall plate access points. So it is built for room dedicated coverage. What's that? A ensuite, dormitory, or a hotel room. It's small, so they are less intrusive to environments. So that's why we have wall plate access points. And we are having desktop access points. It's mainly for homes or small offices owners who want have AP, but they don't need to install it on the wall or do some extra work. They just place it on the shelf or anything else. So that's a desktop AP built for homes and small offices. And outdoor AP, just like the outdoor 4G, 5G routers, which is weatherproof, but it doesn't have a 4G, 5G modems. So they require a router providing no matter it's wireless connection or wired connection for their connection. Okay. So one thing worth noting here is the AP3000 outdoor is very strong in terms of the Wi-Fi coverage because it has additional power amplifiers. So according to our testing department, it can reach 320 meters away. Very suitable for national parks and many other parking lots, large areas parking lots. This one is highly recommended. Okay, so some users want to set up multiple access points and manage them. So that's why we're having access point controllers. We provide two controllers models and one without PoE, one with PoE. That's new terms, right? PoE. We're gonna introduce PoE later. So what else? Multi-SSID, what does it do? So it creates multiple Wi-Fi name within your home, within your places. So staff can use their own Wi-Fi. customer use their own Wi-Fi. There is lower security risks if you are having multi SSID features. And the captive portal, so it will satisfy the marketing demands if they want to pop up a welcome page or maybe a menu to their firstly login customers. That's what they can do with the captive portal features. These two features, they can also be used on just a single access points. So if you don't need an access point, you can also use these two features. Next is the pure VPN routers. It doesn't have AP controlling, but it places the router within the network. Why will you need that? Why don't you just use a Wi-Fi router? So because it connects to multiple WAN, what does that mean? So for a business network, the business owner want their network to be very robust, no matter what downtime happens. So they applies for multiple internet access, and they can connect multiple of them up to 4 to these. I think up to three to these VPN routers. And no matter which one happens some issues, the other can keeps service of the whole business network. As for the VPN service, it is similar to the one on the Wi-Fi routers. Okay, almost 1 hour. We'll keep our pace on. So let's have a simple look on the SMB topology, a typical business network topology. We just talk about the VPN routers and why we need that. Apart from having a multi-WAN features, we need a VPN router because there are so many tasks and so many clients happening within a business network. So we need to spare the tasks for a Wi-Fi router. We split them. We have a VPN router to communicate mainly to outbound to the internet access provider. And for IP address assigning, for security rules, we're gonna spare that roles on the managed switches. They can carry some heavy tasks on the business network backbones. So that's VPN routers and managed switches. And if we want to extend to another floor, we want to have some ports for newly added clients. We can have unmanaged switch on the right and upper parts. The rectangle offers a quick way to extend the network. And on the left and bottom, you can read PoE. What's PoE? The full name is Power over Ethernet. Let's do a small recap. We just talked about access points. And imagine a building that requires like maybe 100 access points within the whole buildings. You're going to install Ethernet cable for each access point. You're going to also need to give power to them. So you're going to add another AC sockets to each access point. But with PoE, you don't need that. PoE injects power into the Ethernet cable so you can save the installation fees and also for later maintenance. So to injecting power into the Ethernet cable, you're going to need a PoE switch, the one that connecting 3 yellow cable, right, on the graph. Okay, so next I'm gonna tell you like a limitation to a standard Ethernet cable is a Ethernet cable can only reaches 100 meters away. So normally you cannot deploy a devices that's 100 meters longer to the switches. But to reach that distance, you have two solutions. The first is in the green rectangle is using fiber. So you transform Ethernet into fiber using the media converter. So you can make use of the long distance low degradation features on the fiber. And what if you're just having a cameras that just 200 meters away and you don't want the system to be more complicated? So we can provide a PoE extender, which will consume a little bit of power from the PoE line and boost the signals within the Ethernet cable to another 100 meters. And by installing 3 of them within a chain, you can have 400 meters of reach. That's PoE extenders. I hope now you have gotten familiar with the roles of different products within a SMB topology. So let's a quick look on Cudy's Ethernet switches. So we provide from 5 ports to 24 ports or even more ports, from 100 megabits per second speeds to as fast as 2.5 G options. That's the most simple unmanaged switches. And we also provide PoE switches. So it has some other features relating to PoE, as you can see on the charts on the table. So this tells you how many PoE, how many ports it provides PoE features, and the wattage behind the ports indicating how many power it supplies to the end clients. And they also have some PoE Max LED and intelligent power management. Why we need that? Let's talk about it. So let's stand in the IT's shoes to imagine their tasks. So they will have such need to reach a devices like cameras that's longer, that's further, longer than 100 meters away. So with this extend feature on the Cudy switch devices, the distance can be boosted up to 250 meters by capping the speed at 10 megabits per second, which is still enough for a cameras. And the VLAN features. So why do we need the VLAN features? You must have watched some movies show. You can see some hackers pulling up a unguarded Ethernet cable and hacking the whole surveillance systems, right? That's because they didn't turn up. The IT didn't turn on the VLAN feature. So all the downlink clients, all the cameras can communicate each other. So there is a leakage or of risks of getting hacked. So with VLAN feature turned on, okay, a new message. Auto sense. I assume other PoE switches auto sense. I don't know if I'm getting you clear. I assume auto sense is about power sensing or the MDI or MDIX auto sensing. If both of them are supported, like it's all auto. Okay, if I'm wrong, please correct me. So that's VLAN features. By turning on, all the downlink ports are segregated. Okay, thank you. Okay, if you don't have need to learn business products, you're free to leave. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's continue. So PoE management. Next is about PoE management. So it's very common to have such demand that you have plugged multiple devices, but you don't know if the power budget is running out. So on Cudy's switches, there is a PoE Max LED. So if it's light up, it means you're running out of budget. Don't add any PoE devices anymore. Very straightforward. And there is also a PoE status port indicating if this port is powered on, very helpful during troubleshooting. And next is about intelligent PoE management. What's that? Let's check this animation. So when you're installing multiple cameras, sometimes you may break the budget, right? And the Cudy PoE switches will memorize which port is the lastly connected port. So you don't have to worry that you may break down the whole system by accidentally using up the PoE budget, because it's always the last devices that you connect to the switch that's being kicked off if the budget is running out. So that's called intelligent PoE management. Okay, last feature in PoE switches is called watchdog. So almost all Cudy PoE switches provide this feature. So this feature will monitor the activity within each PoE port. Normally, the activity is always happening because no matter if the data is going on, but if the client's software is freezing, the software is dead, and the watchdog will know. So they will force the end clients to reboot. So the whole system will be more reliable even though it's unmanned, right? It's in most cases it's unmanned. No one will keep an eye on such systems. Okay, so finishing the PoE switches introduction, we're looking at light managed switches. So light managed switches is the unmanaged switches adding some essential management features. What are them? Let's break it down. So we're having some more advanced VLAN on these models. So that's called 802.1q VLAN. So unlike the basic VLAN we just introduced on a PoE switches, this VLAN 802.1q adds a VLAN tag to each data packet. So even there are multiple switches, they can work together. So you can create a department network, even they are connected not on a same switches. So that's the 802.1q VLAN, quite useful in business scenarios. And about QoS, you can imagine it is like it can identify the priority of different package and automatically prioritize the voice, the streaming, the video conferencing to the package. That's a QoS. And some other essential management features. The two that worth introduction here is including the link aggregation, which allows you to building a faster backbone within your building, within your offices, like combining multiple lines and multiple ports to multiply the speeds. And the second point that worth introducing here is a DHCP snooping. What does it do? So in a very complicated business network, it is very normal that one of your port is connected to a router. What will happen? So two router within a business network will cause chaos because there will be two DHCP server assigning IP addresses. So nearly half the devices were not able to connect to the correct IP. So that will cause chaos. So with DHCP snooping, you can assign an authorized DHCP server to prevent any cases like the rogue router or DHCP server connecting within the offices. So that's two essential features that are worth mentioning here. Okay, we've finished the managed switches. Next is about PoE adapters. So PoE adapters just like PoE switch, but it only provides the power for just one devices. So if you have just one PoE client that requires power, you can have these PoE adapters. So choosing them is quite could be complicated, but because they have different PoE standards. But all Cudy PoE adapters have the PoE PoE plus. That's the 802.3 AT or AF standards. So It can power up most devices, such as cameras, such as um, access points. So it's not a hard pick. So we provide the entry level 30 watts PoE adapter, that's PoE 200, to the powerful PoE 400, providing PoE++ standards with 90 watts of power. A PoE 400H with 2.5G speeds is also under development and will be released in the mid 2025. Okay. Next, PoE extenders. PoE extenders is used for extending your PoE transmission distance, just as we have talked about in the topology. So there can be 3 PoE extenders within a chain. So you can have 400 meters distance between the end clients and your PoE switches or PoE adapters. And because it's mostly installed halfway, so there are models that supports waterproof feature IP67, very capable for outdoor use. So on this screen, you see there are 4 models we provide PoE extenders. So very easy to understand, right? Don't need extra explanations. So the last products categories we introduced today is the media converters and optical modules. It's about fiber or Ethernet convention, like from fiber to Ethernet, from other format to Ethernet. It's about media converters. So it could be complicated because there are different combinations of different configurable specs. Like it could be 100 megabits per second. It can also be as fast as 10 gigabits per second. And the fiber, it can support single mode or multi-mode. There are dual fiber version or single fiber version. And after dashes, it indicates the distance it can go. And for the single fiber version, there are A and B because it uses bidirectional but different wavelength light during the transmission. So they need to use in pairs for single fiber media converters. You may not familiar with these products because it's not very home oriented. So on the second from the top, the second one is the single fiber, but A side. You see there is just one hole on the left because it's only have one place for the fiber. And the bottom 2, they are dual fiber. So you see 2 holes on the left. And the top one, it's just ASFP slots. So you can install whatever optical modules in that slot to have the optimal optical performance. Next is about support customers. So if there are people who is relating to the support department in your company, so you may check the FAQ first on our website. Just search keywords in the search bar. Almost many common questions has been recorded, so very helpful. And the customer may come to you asking for a replacement, asking for a fix. And this graph shows you a standard procedure to do troubleshooting from left to right. Let's go through them together. So customer finds you to report an error or malfunction. And according to our record, almost 60 to 70% of customer can fix this by upgrading the firmware or resetting their device and configure again. So you may give them the guidance to upgrade the firmware or resetting the devices. Unless there's only one situation that you can count it as immediate RMA. So that's when the LED doesn't light up, even when you replaced the adapter. So there's no power problem, it's the hardware problem. So that's immediate RMA. But if the problem persists, customer finds you and insists in replacing products, please record the customer's contact and the product serial number, which can be seen on the label, on the back of the products, and the description of the error. So you give them the new device's replacement and close the case, and you send the information you collected to your Cudy sales every month or every quarter, and Cudy will compensate your loss by giving you credit note based on the amount. So that's about troubleshooting. Okay, we have finished today's session. If you have any question, feel free to type it and